Hi, my name is Nathaniel Marunas, and I'm the author of this book about Nerf blasters, the Ultimate Nerf Blaster Book. Welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit about the process that goes into the design of these amazing toys, and one in particular, the Vulcan EBF-25, just to show how cool the whole process is. But first, I want to talk a little bit just about Nerf. Nerf is the spongy foam developed by toy inventor Ren Geyer in the late 1960s. Originally, the foam was supposed to be used to make fake boulders, rocks really, for a board game called Caveman, where the players would hide their money under foam rocks and then throw other foam rocks at the other players' rocks to get at the money hidden underneath those rocks. The game was never made, but throwing this hunk of solid, soft foam was so much fun that it inspired the idea for a new indoors ball you could chuck at your friends without hurting them or breaking any of the stuff on the bookshelves. The Nerf ball went on sale in 1969 and it was a huge success, so the designers started coming up with lots of new toys based on the foam. There were footballs, basketballs, flying discs, baseballs, bats, cars and trucks, gliders, you name it. And then almost 20 years later, they released the Blast-A-Ball, the very first blaster which shot a small round ball of Nerf foam. 3 years later, the first dart blaster, the sharpshooter, was invented, and from that moment on, the Nerf designers started coming up with tons and tons of different blaster designs every year. Some of them are single-shot blasters like the Jolt. It's small, but the Jolt really fires far. These are just a couple of the hundreds of blasters that have been invented over the years, but even these two are amazing complicated toys. They're intricate machines designed to fire Nerf darts as far as possible. But what we're going to talk about here is one of the most complicated Nerf blasters ever made, the Vulcan EBF-25. The EBF stands for Electronic Belt Fed, and the number 25 is how many darts it holds. But when the designers began dreaming it up, it was pretty different from the way it wound up in the end. When Nerf designers come up with an idea, they sit around and decide what they'd like the blaster to be. In this case, the idea was for a blaster with 3 rotating barrels, powered by electricity and fed by a belt that would hold 100 darts. Using spare parts, in this case these are parts of N-Strike Mavericks, they designed how the belt feeding mechanism would work. This is a sort of Frankenblaster, and it's a proof of concept. Then they come up with a color drawing of the blaster and build a model that doesn't actually work using a 3D printer. At this point, they were calling it the BF-50, or Belt-Fed 50, because they thought it would hold 50 darts. But that many darts made the blaster too heavy, so they went down to 25. Computer drawings, or CADs, of the 25 dart model looked like this. By now, the idea of having 3 barrels is also completely gone. In the end, it was too heavy to have the batteries necessary to move all those parts. Then they create these things, which are known as foam bucks. They are models made of heavy foam that are life-size, non-working models. They get a bunch of kids to come into the Nerf test laboratory and play with these and see if the sizing and weight works. Even this late in the game, look how many final details still have to be worked out. This process is known as dialing in the details. Then, almost 2 years after the process began, the final model, the Vulcan, is ready for action. Well, that's it for now. If you'd like to learn more, please pick up a copy of the Ultimate Nerf Blaster book at a bookstore or online. Your inner 8 to 12-year-old will definitely thank you.